Hi everyone, good afternoon. This is a short video on how to go about reading the PT 360. And the reason I'm making this video is because I had a few friends who asked me that how is it that I was able to score high in prelims without, when my only source of current affairs was the PT 365. As you know, the UPSC's pattern lately has been that it's current affairs heavy, and generally people read a lot of monthly magazines, and at the end of the year before the prelims excuse me, they read the PT 365 and along with that the newspaper. However, in my preparation I am often busy with other things, and so I haven't found time to be very regular with the newspaper or the monthly magazines. So the idea here is that I rely wholly on the PT 365, and I've been able to clear the forest cutoff with that method. So what I have found is that it's not about how much current affairs you study, as in from a lot of sources. It's generally about how you extract information from that one source that you're studying. And to be honest, the PT 365 subject-wise documents, they are very dense. So every page you have a lot of information that comes in, and if you can just remember all of that, that is enough to sail you through prelims. This is what I believe. So this is this document that you can see. It's the PT environment document for the 2020. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read it as though I haven't, as in this is the first time that I'm reading it, and I'm just going to go through how I read it, what all thoughts come to my head, and the method in which I'll read it, right? And at the outset, I'd like to just apologize for the sound quality because I'm in a garden right now and you might hear some disturbance. So this is page number 33, as you can see, and it's related to biodiversity, wildlife and conservation. Alright, so the topic is All India Tiger Estimate 2018. Now at the outset itself you can see that this is the 2018 estimate, and it's an All India Tiger Estimate. So it's a survey, and it was a 2018 survey, the report of which has probably been released now. And it's the 4-year tiger census report. Now 4 years is important because the tiger census is held every 4 years, and the report title is Status of Tigers, Co-Predators, Prey and Their Habitat 2018. And the title of the report, I wouldn't say is really important. I mean, it's just something that you should vaguely remember. You don't need to, rattle the entire thing. Just know that it's related to tigers, co-predators, their prey and their habitat. Basically everything about tigers. So what does it show? It shows that the count of tigers in India has risen to 2967 in 2018 from 2226 in 2014. Now these numbers aren't really important, but you should know that this is somewhere around 3000. And it's a 33% rise in tiger numbers, and which is the highest ever recorded between cycles. So between 4-year cycles, 2006 to 2010 was 21%, and 2010 to 2014 is 30%. Now these numbers aren't important, 21 and 30%. However, you can see a trend here that the rise in numbers is also rising. So the 33% rise being the highest ever recorded between cycles is a fact that is important. You could get it as a statement in the prelims as well. And census was led by the National Tiger Conservation Authority and the Wildlife Institute of India. Both of these information are important in collaboration with state forest departments, and World Wildlife Fund India was an implementation partner. Now this fact is important because World Wildlife Fund is not a governmental agency. It is a non-government organization involved in wildlife conservation, and therefore so here you can see that even the non-government is helping out the government in your tiger census. Anyway, so what are the findings? The finding is that the biggest increase in tigers has come from Madhya Pradesh, from 308 to 526. These numbers aren't important. MP has the most number of tigers. Now this is important because now MP has the most number of tigers. Previously it was Karnataka, now it is Madhya Pradesh, and the biggest increase has been in Madhya Pradesh. So this state is important. Continuing loss of tiger occupied areas. Now this statement should put in a question in your mind. See, because we've had like the largest ever increase recorded between cycles in tiger numbers. However, the same report is saying that there is a loss of tiger occupied areas, which should perk up your curiosity. You should wonder that how is it that we're increasing numbers with reducing area. So the net loss in tiger occupied areas is estimated to be 20% of the tiger habitat in 4 years. Alright, so this number is not all that important. The decline was spread over 3 out of 5 tiger landscapes. So here the information is that we have 5 tiger landscapes. These are the Shivalik, Western Ghats, Northeast and Central India and Sundarban landscape registered an increase. So there has been a decline in 3 out of 5, out of which you can see the decline has been in the mountainous regions, right? Shivalik, Western Ghats and Northeast. So I'm just going to write mountains here, and there's been a decrease in the mountains, whereas if you can see here, Central India and Sundarban landscapes have registered an increase. So this is a slightly odd fact, and it's easy to remember because it's odd, right? And no tiger was recorded in Buxa, Dampa and Palamu in West Bengal, Mizoram and Jharkhand. Now, what do you extract out of this information? This line is very information dense. For me, the 2-3 things that I extract out of it is, one, that Buxa is in West Bengal, Dampa is in Mizoram and Palamu is in Jharkhand. And second, that you can have tiger reserves which have no tigers. And that's an odd fact. Like, what if you get a statement in the prelims that says, a minimum number of tigers has to be there for a protected area to be declared as a tiger reserve, and then you realize that no, there are tiger reserves where you have no tigers. And that's probably because, tigers are animals that move around over a large area, and so at the time of recording there weren't any. But this information is important. And the second thing that you learn here is that Buxa is in West Bengal and these are in these states. And what I would normally do here, what I can't do right now, is that I'll make a note of these areas and I'll go see them on the map once I'm done reading. UPSC does not ask which latitude a tiger reserve is on or something like that. It's generally, like you match the pairs, like this is in this state, this is in this state. That's all you need to know. The reason you're going to the map and looking at the location is that because if you do that, it gives you like a visual cue to remember all of these things. And if you make your study more interactive that way, like including visuals, audio and things like that, it helps in remembering better, right? So the next subtopic is technologies in the remote. Alright, so what I normally do is before I move on, like I can see that this technology in the report is like a big subtopic. So before I move on to that, I'm just going to sit and recall what exactly it is that I've read in the past 5 minutes, right? And I'm going to do that. I'm not going to read what I have written. I'm like, the word is recall. I'm not going to revise it by reading it. I'm going to recall exactly what it is that I studied. Alright, so if I close my eyes or if I look away, I'm going to recall that I've studied about the All India Tiger Census 2018. It is conducted by the NTCA with association with the Wildlife Institute of India as well as the World Wildlife Fund, right? And the tiger census is held every 4 years. We've seen the largest increase in tigers, that is a 33% rise in this cycle, and there's been a consistent trend of increasing numbers, right? And I'd say, so we have around 3,000 tigers now, 2967, which is a number that I happen to remember in 2018. And apart from that, there are some main findings with regard to the report. First is that the biggest increases in Madhya Pradesh. The largest number of tigers are in Madhya Pradesh. That there are tiger reserves, which 0 tigers, and these are Buxa, Palamu and Dampa. Buxa is in West Bengal, Dampa is in Mizoram, and Palamu is in Jharkhand, right? And now see, there is one data that I know I'm missing. And this is what happens, when we read something, we think, ki, haan, abhi to padha hai, we've just read it. How is it that we can forget, like, I've just read it, what is the need to revise it? So this is exactly the need to revise it, because out of say 10 points, you're only able to remember 8 or 9. And the thing with the prelims is, it's an information fact-based exam. So if you have read something, and if you cannot remember it, and if you cannot recall it, and so that information is completely useless. So the time that you spend on reading that is absolutely useless. And that is what we need to avoid. So now you have to think that what is it that I missed out? Okay, so if I can't remember, I'm just going to go see. Right, so what I missed out is that there has been a decline in the numbers over 3 out of 5 landscapes. So there are 5 landscapes. What were they? 3 were in the mountains, right? So Shivalik, Western Ghats and the Northeast. There we've seen a decline, and we've seen an increase in Central India and Sundarban. And this is an important point. So forgetting this would have been like a grievous error, and you shouldn't forgive yourself for that. And yeah, so once I'm done with this, I'm just going to have a look through whether I remember everything. Yes, I do. And I'm going to move on to technologies in the report. So what are the technologies? Now, M stripes for tigers, intensive protection, ecological status. M stripes. Now this word, this abbreviation is important, because they're not going to ask you in UPSC, they're not going to ask you what is monitoring system for tribes, intensive protection. They're going to ask you what is M stripes, and they'll give you A, B, C, D, right? So you need to, your mind needs to be able to recognize this abbreviation. Same here, cat rat. So you need to be able to recognize this abbreviation and somehow link it to tiger conservation. That's all you need to do. So what is it? It's a software based monitoring system launched across Indian tiger reserves by the NTCA. Now this is important. Now we have NTCA, which is coming up twice already. One was in the sense that it is responsible for the tiger census, and second is that M stripes is something which was made by the NTCA. So this is an important food. Cytochrome B marker. So this is also a technical term. Where camera trappings were not possible due to low tiger numbers, cat dropping samples were taken and estimated minimum number of tigers through genetic analysis, right? So cytochrome B has something to do with genetic analysis due to where camera trap was not possible. So it's like an alternative. Genomic data was extracted and samples were screened for species identification using a tiger-specific cytochrome B marker. Now the reason, so a lot of people here won't really understand what's going on, like what is the cytochrome B marker, but I have a bio background, so I'll be able to remember here. Okay, so this is a genetic marker, and what a genetic marker is that every person or every individual organism has certain DNA bases that are arranged uniquely for that person. Like you have some patterns in your DNA, and that can be used as a marker to identify ki, okay, this DNA means this person, right? So that's why we're identifying tigers through their cytochrome B marker on their DNA. Now a lot of people won't know this because you may not have a bio background, so that doesn't matter. So you might have a political science background, you might have an economics background, some other day you'll be reading an economics PT 365, right? So there my point is, whatever relevant information that you have in your past, like you might have read it somewhere, if it is coming to you right now, just try to recall that as well. So not only are you studying this, your mind is also going to places beyond this, and you're able to create interlinkages. So now I have linked genetic markers to cytochrome B marker and tiger conservation. So now if I ever get a question in PT that says that what are genetic markers useful for, and usme one of the options is wildlife conservation. So now I know, because I have linked, I know genetic marker is used in cytochrome B, it's used to identify a tiger. So I know that that option is correct, and that is what you need. You just need to create interlinkages. So now we're finished with this technologies in the report subpart. So what do you do now? Now you're going to recall, like just how we did for the previous section. Now you're just going to recall exactly what it is you have. If I remember correctly, there are 6 technologies that were used. You may remember 5, you remember 4, right? Let's see. So there's an M stripes, there's a cat rat, there's an SECR, the spatially capture recapture technology, there's a max ent, which is the maximum entropy model, then there is a cytochrome B marker, and there is another one which I'm forgetting. It's the one to do with the spotted leopard thing, right? Hot spotter and extract compare, right? So this is basically what I do to study, and as you can see, we found a lot of information you can go on. So here it talks about, later on in the document, it talks about the NTCA. So when you study about the NTCA here, you're not going to limit your mind to just what you've read here. Your information of NTCA is broader than this. Why? Because we have studied 2 points before this about the NTCA. One was regarding the M stripes. M stripes is here. It was developed by the NTCA. And second is that the tiger census was conducted by the NTCA. These 2 points won't be here. Like here it's not written in this portion, it's not written that the tiger census is conducted by the NTCA M stripe. So that's what, you're not going to have all the information of one body or one topic in that area itself. Maybe you will get it from some previous, previous page in the same document, or from some other, maybe a test series solution. You should be able to recall here. So when I'm reading this, and because there are previous topics regarding NTCA, I'm just going to write it here. So M stripes, right, and tiger census. That's all. That's all you need to know. So now you know, apart from it being a statutory body, these are also the points. And this is the kind of question that UPSC will ask. UPSC is not going to look at this section and be like, acha bachcho ne, kids must have just read this portion, so I'll ask out of this portion only. No, UPSC is going to go above and beyond, and they're going to ask you things from different news sources, and they're going to put it together. And the only linking thing would be an NTCA. So the point is, you got to think like that. You got to be able to make linkages in the same sense that UPSC is going to expect you to do, right? And so yeah, in conclusion, I just like to say, like, you need to focus on what you're reading. Don't skip the subheadings. Please try to read those as well and recall everything that you read after you've done it, and let your thoughts flow. Don't get distracted, but anything that you remember which is relevant to what you are reading, please try to remember and recall that as well. And locations, if you find any, please go look at them at the map. You don't need to do it instantly. Just make a note, have a notebook on the side, and just write down, okay, these are the areas I want to see. And lastly, I'd like to say that I know this seems like a very time consuming thing, but what you get out of this method is, once you're done with a topic, you have already revised it twice, right? You've read it once. While reading it, you're thinking about other things and linking it. So that is kind of like a revision. And then when you come to the end of a topic, you have taken the effort of recalling exactly what you've read, like just 10 seconds ago what you've read. And that is your second revision. So you're already done with 2 revisions within that short span of time. It is an intensive process, but preparing for prelims is not easy. And it takes a lot of revision. So for me, what suffices is, like, I've done 2 revisions, and later on I'm going to do 2 revisions more whenever I find the time. Maybe a week later, or maybe, the next time I pick up the PT environment, I'm just going to read, okay, what did I read? And maybe I read 20 pages the previous day. I'm just going to go through it and recall exactly what it is that I read. So I'm going to do a total of 4 revisions, out of which twice are done in the first go itself. And this is what you got to do. You got to be efficient, because now there's only a month left, and you should be reading these PTs in a very intensive way that you're going to finish it. So if this is an 80-page document, the way I'm going to read it is, I'm going to say, okay, I need to finish it in 4 days. That means 20 pages every day. So if I'm going to read 20 pages, the next day I'm going to revise those previous 20 pages and read another 20 pages. And this is how I'm going to do it, right? So it's a very intensive preparation, but this is exactly what you need for the prelims. That is what I believe. And I hope this video helped you. And stay home, stay safe, and bye-bye.